Hey everybody. I don't know if this is working well or not, but I just want to share with you that I'm out here at the Pinehurst Resort, actually the Carolina Inn, and it's closed obviously for purposes of what we're experiencing with the coronavirus. And so I just wanted to talk to you now and share with you a little bit about what I'm doing. So I'm going to share with you kind of my screenshot here. I'm inviting you to participate in this if you'd like. But what I'm doing is talking about how, how to address these issues as a dentist. So how to focus, make wise decisions, increase your team engagement in stressful times. So that's what I'm preparing and I'm creating right now. But I just thought I'd try YouTube because I've never done a YouTube live, and I thought this would be a nice experiment to be able to see what actually happens. Because my Facebook Live didn't work today on my Dental Work-Life Balance Live interview, and so I thought, well, let me try YouTube. So this is what we're talking about here, and the reason this is important to me, and a little bit about my story. I'll kind of give you my backstory, really my origin story, if you will. My dad, as many know, if you know me, was an orthodontist. And so I grew up in the dental family. And so the reason that I care so much is that one day down in Chapel Hill, I was there as a senior and my mom and dad came down. We had dinner together and, just kind of, hung out. And I was upstairs in my condo in the bedroom with my dad, and he was sitting on the bed. And I looked at him and I said, "Dad, what's going on? What's wrong? You just don't seem like yourself." He looked directly into my eyes and he said, "Audie, I just can't handle the stress. I can't handle the stress anymore." Well, this shocked me. And he drove home that night with my mom and back from Chapel Hill to High Point. He went upstairs to sleep it off because he never missed a day in his life in his practice. And he had a massive heart attack and died that night. So I don't want the same tragedy to happen as a result of the increased stress that we're dealing with as dentist practitioners and people and just entrepreneurs, everyone out there, whether you're running a large corporation or whether you're running a dentist office that just has, a team of maybe 5 or 6 people or smaller than that. We're all experiencing that stress and uncertainty. So what I'm going to talk about in these videos that I'm creating, and if you'd like to know more about them, feel free to reach out to me because I'm actually just doing a test here to make sure that this actually works. But the agenda that we're going to talk about is reframing your mindset. And so what does that look like? Number 2 is we're going to talk about the one thing new way of thinking. And then finally, next actions. What can I do to take action and get support and do what you're talking about with this whole new one thing way of thinking? So what's on your mind? Well, I know I talk to a lot of dentists. I have clients that are dentists, a lot of them. I talk to the executive directors of state organizations and many other people that are in contact with dentists. And what I find is this: the questions that they have on their mind, and maybe it's on your mind as well. What's going to happen to me, my staff, my practice? And second, there's so many options and they're not easy to understand, like the whole PPP and IDA loans and grants and all this money that the government's giving out. And now it disappears, so it's not easy to understand. And then you're pressured to make the right decision or the money goes away. Just what happened last Friday, and only 10% of the people were helped. A friend of ours who's a banker talked about that, and he was really sad and disappointed that only all that money's gone, and so how do I make the right decision? The other tasks that I need to complete right now, like you're probably watching this and you're thinking, okay, maybe I'm zoning out. I do that sometimes myself, and you're thinking, oh, I really need to do this. So there's those things. And then you're asking yourself, well, what really are my priorities right now? I'm not able to be doing what I do day in and day out as a practitioner. So what does that look like for me to do today? And it looks like things are going to come back online. Now, are we going to be ready for our practice to open after the quarantine comes down? Can I just follow someone else's plan? I don't want to do this. I never signed up for this. I was talking to a client and he said, I'm doing this action plan and I'm wearing my CEO hat, and it's not what I'm used to. I know I should do it, but I don't really want to have to think through all the things that I have to deal with in this whole situation with all the different things that are being thrown up to me. Fear, worry, stress, paralysis of analysis. Maybe that's what you're feeling. That's what you're thinking right now. Getting incomplete information, so you might make a bad decision. I know that was one of my clients. They were sharing with me that, I thought that we could do the unemployment and then still have a part-time kind of relationship with some of my team, and they were denied unemployment. So what is that going to do? I don't even know about this stuff. Why do I have to deal with this now? With all the stresses that are going on right now, and it's really hard to choose what you need to put your hand at. And what else? Maybe you can type in the chat below what you're thinking. What are some of the things that are not working in your life right now that you're saying these are the things that are top of mind, and I don't know the answers to them. Well, here's what I'd like to do. Maybe some of you have seen this graph. It's called, reframe your mindset. Okay, so you've got patient demand, which exceeds a practice's ability to satisfy the need with normal working hours and staffing. That's what's going to happen whenever the surge takes place, right? So you can see, this is what happened. This is the road to recovery by Dental Post. So, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna talk about just the mind shift, and then we're gonna wrap up. And if you want me to help you or to share this presentation, I'd be happy to give you that. But this is kind of what I'm doing for different state organizations and working with different dental schools and things like that to be able to help reframe that mindset. But what we want to do is reshift to how many, and this is one thing that I think is really helpful. There's 8,000 dentists that the software Dental Intel is tracking, and there's 87 million patients that were already pre-coronavirus that were in their system. Okay, and the interesting thing was 44% of those were unscheduled pre-coronavirus before any of this happened. So that's 38.28 million patients that were out there that didn't have anything scheduled for their next visit. Okay, that's a lot for practice to be able to take care of. So if you took all of those dentists and you divided that, it's 3.8 additional chairs would be needed for 6 months to address the pre-coronavirus demand. Okay, so every 10 to 14 seconds now, someone goes to the ER for a dental emergency that could be otherwise handled in a dental practice. So that's what we're dealing with now. So there's a lot of pent-up need, a lot of surge that's going to happen. The reality is, though, that we're going to not be able to see all the patients in the next 12 months post-coronavirus. So there is opportunity there. So this was an interview that I did last week with Weston Lunsford. He's the CEO of Dental Intel. So your vision could be, hey, I want to retire in 2 years. You could be, hey, I'm in my 30s. I just really got into my own practice. I just bought it. I'm going to have to move in with my family because I'm going to not be able to take care of, the amount of expenses that I've got. I've got to cover those. I've got to dig my way out. No one size fits all. Once you've seen one solution, you've seen one solution. And so what I want to offer to you is that we're going to have a way of thinking, a mindset to help you so that you have really more of a GPS than you do a map or an action plan. So with that, I hope that tickles your interest to join me and to reach out. Just comment below if you want to know more about me or how I can serve you and the things I can give. One of the things that I did last November, is the Dental Work-Life Balance Summit. You just go to dentalwork-life-balance-summit.com and you can get free access to see all the different needs that a dentist would have in their practice. Everything from leadership to relationship to how do I run my practice more efficiently? How do I deal with, how can I do sleep apnea? All those things that you want to otherwise do in your life, both with work and with life, your practice, and your personal life. And so I think you'll enjoy having that information. You can get it for free. And also there'll be some other things in there that you can sign up for if you'd like. It's a one thing away challenge. And what I do is I help you as your coach to walk you through the things that you need. And that's really a lot of what we're talking about, is developing that relationship of trust with your team, but also having an outside team or coach or mastermind group, someone that can hold you accountable to be able to take the steps that you need to take, but that might otherwise not be something that you're comfortable with. So please join me in that. Reach out, let me serve your needs, and I will look forward to talking to you very soon. See the beauty behind me? So this is all the left side of the Carolina Inn. So I think you guys would love to come here if you're golfers. I know you've heard of Pinehurst. It's where they have the US Open consistently. And so that's why I'm doing it here, because I think it was just so weird whenever I came up riding on my bike one night after a friend of mine said, hey, why don't you go up there and, come up here. I'm sitting on the front porch and there's nobody here. I just saw a security guard. That was the only person that I saw. So I was like, why not film it from here, and show people what it looks like in some of the resort areas around that are completely abandoned, essentially. So it's very sad. We're all trying to see what we can do to pray for and believe and hope for, and do what we can to do social distancing, but also for us to, pray for those people who can actually, find the solutions. And it looks like good things are happening. So just want to encourage you and talk to you soon.